you're looking to make the move to Boise, Idaho, you want to know what the cost of living is, especially for those daily budget items, those monthly budget items, things like what is your mortgage going to be? What is your water bill, your gas, your electric bill, your grocery bill, homeowner's insurance, car registration? We're going to be diving into that and more. And if you're moving from a place like California, you're going to be absolutely in love with what I'm about to share with you. I moved from San Diego, California myself, and I moved here certainly for the affordability, a huge benefit of moving to a wonderfully free state like Idaho, where just things cost less because there's less regulation, there's less taxes overall. In fact, I was just talking with a friend of mine that still lives in San Diego about what he's paying for property taxes, insurance, and his gas and electric bill, because he reached out wondering, hey man, what are you paying? And he's paying about 14 grand a year for property taxes and homeowner's insurance. And then a recent electric bill he had was over $400 and he didn't run his heat or AC at all. So if that's something you're facing in California, you're going to be very pleasantly surprised about the many cost savings you're going to find here in Idaho. And before we dive in, don't forget to hit subscribe and hit that bell notification so you get notified every time I put out new videos just like this about what it's like to live in Boise, Idaho. I moved from San Diego, California a couple years ago with my wife and 3 kids. Hard decision to leave San Diego, but we just were fed up with what's going on in California and we wanted a better life for our family here in Idaho, and we absolutely love living here. And I am a real estate agent here in Idaho, and I help people just like you moving from California or wherever you might be coming from. So if you're looking to make the move here, just reach out to the contact information on the screen below. And if you're looking to make the move here, all you gotta do is reach out via phone, text, or email at the contact information on the screen below or in the description. Whether you're 9 days, 90 days, or even 2 years out, just reach out and we'll have a conversation about what the best home, the best neighborhood, and what the best time frame is for you to make the move here to Idaho. Let's jump into the cost of living here. We're gonna start with what are the home prices and what can you expect to pay for mortgages. So this is an update for 2024. Interest rates right now are sitting right around 7%. Hopefully they come down, but we don't know when that's gonna happen. So right now, 7%. So let's dive into a couple numbers. Median price right now in the Meridian area is right around $500,000. So you're looking at, with a 20% down payment, about $2,600 per month, not including property taxes and insurance. If you're looking for a little bit more affordable home and maybe you're a first-time home buyer using a 3.5% down payment loan through the FHA, then your payment's gonna be a little bit higher, even though your cost of the home's gonna be lower. You're looking around $2,900 a month. And then if you're going up in the price bracket just a little bit, maybe $800,000, 20% down, you're looking at around $4,200 a month on a mortgage payment right now. Now, what I have found here in Idaho is that, yes, you do save some money on the actual home itself compared to what you can get in California. A $750,000 home is probably going to be the equivalent of a $1.2, $1.5 million home. But if you're coming from a home that's currently valued at $800 and you're buying a home that's $800,000, you're basically getting a lot more home and a much nicer home here in Idaho than what you're getting in California. I grew up in San Diego. I know the home stock there. I sold homes in San Diego, and you're a lot of 1960s homes that are 1,200 to 1,800 square feet, and they're $1 million now. For that same price point, if you're spending $800,000, depending on where you are, but let's say Meridian, you're probably gonna end up in like a 3,000 square foot home that's very new, very modern, and absolutely gorgeous. Let's jump into the utilities. This is where you're gonna start saving your money here in Idaho. So typically on average, your gas and electric bills are probably gonna range anywhere between $100 to $200 a month, depending on how efficient your home is, how big it is, and how much you run all your systems. Now for me, I'm in about a 2,700 square foot home. It's 2 stories. It is a fairly new home. It was brand new when I bought it. It's very energy efficient. I run my HVAC systems, my heat, my AC 24/7, 7 days a week, and I pay on average about $150 per month. Now in the winter time, tends to be a little less, kind of around $130, $140. Summertime, when you're running a lot more electricity for the AC, it does get around $200 for electric, and then about $20 for gas. At that point, it's about $200, $220 per month is what I pay right now. If you're trying to compare the cost per kilowatt hour, it's about 8.5 cents per kilowatt hour, but also very low base fees. Unlike California, where they're adding on the income requirement now for base fees that are completely separate from your usage, which just blows my mind that the state is now going to be sharing income information with the utilities. I'm telling you folks, you got to get out of California. It's only going to get worse. All right, let's look at water and sewer. So I'm paying about $60 a month right now for my water and sewer. And then I have irrigation water from the city of Nampa, and I pay $160 per year for unlimited irrigation water, which runs for about 6 months out of the year. There's no metering on it at all. In the summertime, I water my grass basically twice a day. Now, here's the thing, is that if you end up in a home that is not connected to the irrigation system, which is basically canal water coming from the lakes and reservoirs and the snowmelt coming through the canal systems. And typically that's going to be pressurized, but not always. Sometimes you actually throw a pump into a little canal going by, typically pressurized. If you're not on that system, then you will be using domestic drinkable city water, and your bills will be much higher, probably in the couple $100 range, potentially higher, especially in the summer months. Trash is also typically going to be included on your bill. That's also going to run you around $20 a month. So for water, sewer, and trash, you're looking probably around $150 to $200 a month, plus your annual irrigation fee. HOA fees are going to vary widely throughout the Treasure Valley. There are a lot of HOAs here. It is kind of a thing. Now there are homes, of course, that are not in HOAs, especially as you get into the larger acreage lots. Going to be a lot less HOAs there, or some of the older homes, but anything newer, more modern, certainly is going to be having an HOA. Now you're probably going to be spending anywhere from, on the very, very low end, $100 a year for HOAs. It's going to be probably a little bit older community, probably in the 30+ year range, not a lot of amenities, up to about $2,000 per year for your HOA. Now, the higher you get in price, you're going to be getting a lot more amenities along with it. That's where you get your pools and your clubhouses, your pickleball courts, all those sorts of things. Now, I would say on average, for most HOAs, now on average, really you're going to be spending somewhere between $300 to about $1,000 per year. I would say the bulk of those right in around the $400 to $700 range. Groceries here in Idaho, you're going to find really are not that much cheaper than California. Some things will be, like for milk, for instance, I have found to be cheaper here, but there's a wide range of stores here depending on your budget. So we have Whole Foods, we have Trader Joe's, we have the Boise Co-op. These are going to be generally a little bit higher priced, but if you're a little bit more budget conscious, then there's also Winco and Grocery Outlet. And of course, we also have Costco, which we love shopping at. There are several Costco's. There is one in Nampa, one in Meridian, and one in Boise. And there's just one Trader Joe's right now in Meridian. Now, what might be a little surprising to you, especially if you're coming from California, there is sales tax on groceries here. So coming from California, you don't have sales tax, of course, on groceries, but in Idaho you do, and right now it's 6%. Income tax in Idaho is 5.8%. So if you're coming from California, you're likely a little bit better off, especially if you're in the higher income tax bracket. You're going to be about half of what California is. Of course, if you're coming from Texas or Florida, you're going to be a little disappointed because you will be paying some income tax. Next up, let's take a look at property taxes. This is probably one of the most confusing topics for everyone moving here, even Idahoans. So I'm going to break it down for you as best I can, as succinctly as I can. But Idaho is on a levy-based system. So here's how it works. Every city sets its own budget, and then they take that budget and divide it by the number of taxable properties in that city, and that is the levy rate. Then what happens next is they will take that levy rate and multiply that by your assessed value of your home. Now, that's different from an appraised value. Assessed is what the county does. They say, hey, I think that your property is worth this amount of money, versus what it sold for or what it appraises for. Idaho is a non-disclosure state, so the county doesn't actually see what your home sold for. Chances are your home is going to be assessed lower than what you actually paid for it. If it's not, you can go back to them, say, hey, this is what I paid for it, here's comparable sales, and work with them to get it adjusted down. There's also a homeowner's exemption. If you live in the home as your primary residence, then you can knock off basically $125,000 off the assessed value of your home. So for instance, let's just say you bought a $600,000 home, you can then knock $125,000 off of that, assuming it was assessed for that. So you're basically only being taxed on $475,000. So your effective tax rate will be lower. Now, the levy rate is going to vary throughout the Treasure Valley. You're going to find that Eagle is the lowest property tax, even though it has the highest median price at $1 million. And then you've got Meridian, and then it's going to vary throughout the valley. So briefly, we'll go over what those are. In Eagle, you're going to be at about a 0.44% property tax. In Meridian, you're going to be about 0.54% property tax. In Star, you're going to be at about 0.43 to 0.52. It's called about a 0.5%. Boise is going to be a little bit higher, right around 0.95%. Also, in Harris Ranch, there is a CID or Community Improvement District tax, which is kind of like what you have Melrose in California. It's going to add a little bit to your property taxes there as well. Now, some unique pockets like Dry Creek Ranch, which is the Boise Hunter Homes community, lower taxes there, even though it's technically Boise. That's at 0.44% because they're basically feeding off a lot of the Eagle infrastructure. Hidden Springs, which is also unincorporated Boise, is 0.74%. When you get into Canyon County, it's going to vary quite a bit, anywhere from as low as 0.44 up to about 1%. On average, what I see is about 0.75% or 0.75%. Now, for instance, this is my actual property tax bill. Of course, this is paid through an impound account through escrow, but my effective tax rate is about 0.6%. So I'm only paying about $1,800 per year. And it does vary quite a bit every single year, depending on the assessed value and the budget, so it does go up and down every single year. Now you can go into the county websites and see for a specific property that you're looking at what that tax rate currently is. So for instance, I have a couple screenshots here of some properties that are available on the MLS right now, and you can see what their effective levy tax rate is at the very bottom of the screen. It's that long number there, but basically, for instance, 0.57%. So it's very easy to see what your approximate tax rate is going to be. And you can see as you go into the assessed values of the years here, you can see how the property taxes have changed year to year and how the values have changed a bit as well. Let's cover homeowners insurance as well. I pay just under $600 a year for my homeowners insurance. It's gonna vary for everyone, but in general, I would expect to pay somewhere between $500 to $1,000 per year for homeowners insurance. Of course, the higher value your home, the more you're gonna pay, but in general, I'd expect to pay about that amount. And then finally, what everyone gets really excited about, I feel like, is vehicle registration, which is only about $75 per year, no matter how new your vehicle is. When I first registered my Toyota Tundra, I paid around $800 in California for that truck. Here, 75 bucks. Now, there is a state park pass you can purchase for $10 per year, and that gets you into any state park here in Idaho. Definitely well worth doing it if you like to go camping at all. That was a complete overview of the cost of living. If I missed something, put it down in the comments below. I will reply to you in the comments, and if there's enough, I'll shoot another video on it as well. But if you are looking to move here to the Treasure Valley, all you gotta do is reach out via phone, text, or email at the contact information on the screen and the description and comments below. I help people all the time move here. I moved from California. I know what it's like to make the move here from another state to Idaho, and I absolutely love it. Reach out, whether you're 9 days, 90 days, or even 2 years out. And if you are looking to explore more about the Treasure Valley, you gotta check out this video right here that I put together for you, where we dive in deeper, and I'll see you on the next video.